r/askreddit doctors, nurses who deliver babies. What are some strange/funny things people have screamed while giving birth? When I was born, my dad didn't know that babies are usually born face down, and as I was coming out he screams, "Oh my god, she doesn't have a face." Not a doctor, but a father. When my first child was born his head was kind of misshapen, and when the doctor lifted him up to show my wife she yelled, "Why the fuck does he look like a raptor?" I lost it. No one was responding to the call button as my mom was giving birth, so she yelled, "Do something honey." So my dad ran out into the hallway and screamed at the top of his lungs, "It's showtime," and I'm not a very good catcher. I was high on meds at the time. I was begging for BBQ ribs in between contractions. "Come on, honey. The nurses will never know." They were standing right there. No, but she did get a baby back. Hi, I know you were watching this, so I won't take much of your time. I post every day and I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. A sub would be massively appreciated. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like. Also, I heart all comments. Thanks. Apparently, when my aunt was giving birth, she was all jokes. Very angry jokes, but jokes nonetheless. Knock knock. Who's there? The baby. Not yet. My mother's labor was extremely short. I was born within an hour. So that means that she went from experiencing minimal pain to extreme pain with little time to adjust. When my dad was driving her to the hospital, he unfortunately had to stop for gas. He went in to pay, and just then an elderly man in a wheelchair stopped him, asking him to buy cigarettes for him as the store was not wheelchair accessible. My mom then proceeded to lean out the window, yelling, "Don't help the cripple." We have never let her forget that one. Edit. Didn't think anyone would actually see this. Glad everyone got a laugh out of it. D. One lady was too posh to swear when in pain from contractions. She just said "Jeepers creepers." At one point, when I was having contractions, I said "Foo-hoo-uck" really loud and long, and my husband said "There's $1 for the swear jar," which is our little inside joke. But the nurse thought he was serious and tried to give him a condescending lecture about how painful childbirth is. Until I told them both to shut the fuck up or get murdered, because seriously, shut the fuck up. After a long contraction, I said quietly, "I'm gonna set everyone in this room on fire." Everyone laughed, including the nurse, but I think my devoutly Christian mother-in-law started to cry. While I was in labor, a very tense labor beset by multiple complications and attended by grim-faced medical personnel and my increasingly worried parents, there was a break between contractions. I was slumped, exhausted, trying to catch my breath, and thinking seriously that I might not make it through. I very clearly remember watching my mother cry openly, tears streaming down her face. Then, from the next birthing suite, came the usual calls for push, push, one more time, a long, low moan, a baby's wails, people rushing about, murmuring. Then this woman screams stridently, "What do you mean she's a boy? I am having a baby girl." They said I was having a girl. The fucking room is pink and yellow, you motherfuckers. It was like the sun broke through the clouds. My entire room broke into panicky giggles, which turned into genuine laughter, and everyone was shushing everyone else, doctors and nurses included. Schadenfreude to the rescue. Very late edit. My parents were there because I had just turned 18 6 weeks earlier. I was a very young mother. I graduated high school at 17. I started college as a full-time student on August 25th, and my son was born at 2:30 AM on the 23rd. And I have 5 college degrees, for those wondering. It ain't weird to have your parents in the delivery room when you're basically a kid. And my kid has an ACT score of 32, so he's on his way to being amazing and smart. Very happy ending for 22 hours of pain and worry. Second late edit. Look, I realize we are mistrustful in our hive mind, but I've been answering questions honestly and thoughtfully. I like to think the details provided should serve as proof. I have transcripts, but I'm not about to post them here. Y'all is distrustful bitches. When my sister was in labor, she was screaming, and our mom was trying to be comforting. "It'll be okay. Take some deep breaths. It'll be over soon." Then my sister looks up at our mom and says, "You have no idea what this is like." I'm a nurse, but I'm also a mom. My husband told me when I was breathing the laughing gas I screamed, "I'm Lady Darth Vader," as I was pushing. Then I asked the doctor if he felt my tonsils when he had his arm up there. These are my coworkers. I'm a nurse, and one of the strangest things that I've seen happen while someone is giving birth is one patient decided to tell her boyfriend that it wasn't his baby. That made the whole room silent and the boyfriend just left without saying a thing. I'm white Irish ancestry, so I had red hair when I was a child, and my wife is black. Her sister was also in the delivery room. When the baby crowned, her sister told her she could see the baby's hair. My wife, who can barely breathe, blurted out, "The hair isn't red, is it?" Apparently she was terrified the baby would be black with red hair. EMT who did a birth on the side of the road. Woman shouted "fuck me" during a contraction and the husband casually replied, "That's how we got into this mess." Damn it. I had a very hard time containing myself. My fiance is a doctor and my mother's a nurse, so I'm claiming the titles by association for the purposes of this thread. My mother was unexpectedly having her 4th child and chose not to find out the sex. We like surprises everywhere, apparently. For some reason, she became convinced it was a boy and would have bet the house on it. In the delivery room, they hand the baby to my dad, and he joyfully tells my mom that they have a new baby girl. Mom, what? No. Check again. Dad, I'm pretty sure it's a girl, honey. Mom, you're not looking hard enough. As a nursing student, I was watching a planned C-section. The procedure was being performed by the senior resident. Everything seemed to be going well when I heard the resident mutter "whoops," and I looked up and saw blood squirting out, pulsing. She fixed the artery very quickly, but it obviously freaked out mom and dad. Everything turned out okay for mom and baby. I was in labor for 22 hours. Pushes for 2.5. For those of you who don't know, an average first time childbirth is around 12 hours with around 10-30 minutes of pushing. Needless to say, I was fucking tired. About 2 hours into pushing, I couldn't push anymore. I said I can't. The doctor yelled at me and I lost it. "Shut your whore mouth." It got me mad enough, and around 5 pushes and 3 snips later I popped out a 10-pound baby. We found out post-delivery that I had literally ripped my uterus, which is why it took so long and hurt so bad. So much blood. Edit. I should clarify that I called my doctor a whore, not the other way around. I was married when I had my son. We hired a doula for our first kid 4 years ago. She told us a story that I still laugh about. She was with a couple that had been told they were having a daughter as their first kid. So like first time parents, they outdid themselves with everything pink, sparkly and frilly, the whole 9 yards. Mom goes into labor and they call the doula to come in to be there for the birth. Mom's pushing, dad is cheerleading nervously. The baby pops out and the doula notices that the sonogram tech that said they were having a girl messed up. The dad is too busy to notice anything is amiss. So the doula tell the dad to do a finger and toe count to clue him in. So the dad looks at the baby, see 10 fingers and 10 toes and 1 penis. Now he'd been told that he's having a daughter for the past 6 months and sees a penis, and the first thing he screams is, "Oh my god, my daughter has a penis." Kind of a complimentary story, but a friend of mine is a delivery nurse and she's crazy. On her first real assignment with all of her training staff watching, she hoisted the baby over her head and made the Lion King sound. You know, the ass in Bear fellas navidad. My roommate and I just finished our labor and delivery rotation in July. During one of the births she was helping out in, the mom and the dad were separated, but still good friends. So while this woman is pushing out her baby, she begins to half tell / half scream that my roommate should date her ex / the baby daddy. The conversation went something like this: "Mom, you should really," screams in pain, "go out with," screams again, "him sometime. He's really fun." "Dad, I wouldn't mind some drinks sometime. What are you doing this evening?" No, she did not go out with him. My dad has told me they thought I was a girl all the way up to birth. I came out as a C-section and the doctor goes, "Huh, this one's got extra equipment." After I had my son, I was pretty wasted on all the pain meds they'd given me. I looked at my husband and said, "Honey, Condoleezza Rice is out there waiting for me. Tell her I can't come out to play today. I just had a baby." When my brother was born, they had to use forceps to get him out. My mom saw them and screamed, "Those are salad tongs." You are not putting any goddamn kitchenware in there. My third. I was delirious, so I don't remember much, hyperventilating because I thought something was wrong. Pain was much more intense than my first two. I get to the hospital at 11:15, have my son at 11:24. After everything is calmed down, the nurses start giggling. Apparently I had yelled at them to take off my pants and look up my cunt dick holes. Not a nurse/doctor. When my mom was delivering me, she pulled my dad down to her level by his shirt and said, "Get the fuck out of my face." I told the anesthetist I was going to kick him in the testicles every 30 seconds to see how he would feel. Not me, but my mom delivers babies. She was telling me that one time there was a woman that went to push and opened up her mouth and had the longest drawn out scream ever. It was so long that everyone was kind of looked at each other, checked their watches, and tapped their foot. Once she was done, my mom went up to her and said, "You only get to do that once during a delivery and you just used yours. Apparently when you scream it takes all the power from your push. Just try pooping and screaming and you'll get the idea." Apparently this woman was actually a psychiatrist. Mind over matter, am I right? I had a C-section and was pretty out of it. When they held up my daughter and said, "Here's your baby," I responded, "That's not mine. I've never seen it before in my life. Take it to Lost and Found." First words to my son, "You better be awesome, cause that fucking hurt a lot." I go prod my wife's C-section and pretty much ruined the first cries of my son by exclaiming, "That's a big ass baby." I mean, he was 10 pounds. It just sucks because my family likes to rewatch the video and it always starts out with quiet interrupted by my big mouth. Note, I luckily avoided the gory parts in the video. Just baby getting lifted from the incision. Not a doctor, but during the birth of my firstborn I kept screaming, "I gotta poop. I gotta poop." Actually, it was her head creating pressure as it was coming down the birth canal. Felt just like an 8 pounds poop. I don't remember this because I was very out of it, but I've seen the video. Hubby wanted to see how I was doing and he pulled off my oxygen mask and asked how I felt. I started in with the litany against fear from June. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. Paramedic here delivered a baby for a lady who did not realize she was pregnant and called us for abdominal pain patient. You are an idiot. I'm not fucking pregnant me. Well, I can see a head crowning patient. That must be a fucking tumor. The tumor was a healthy baby girl. Mom was totally sweet afterwards, BTW. Not a doctor, but was present for my cousin's birth. My 90-year-old grandma was there, sitting on the other side of the curtain. She wanted to be present, but didn't want to see anything. She had never witnessed a birth before, and doesn't remember anything about having her own 4 children. As the baby came out, everyone on the birthing side of the curtain was cheering and excited. This caused my grandma to decide she needed to open the curtain to see what was going on. She actually clutched her chest and fell back into her chair in horror. Nearly 12 hours of labor, and to this day, that's about the only thing I remember. The delivery nurse for my son's birth was about 4 minutes and 11 seconds. She kept talking to me, and I couldn't see her over my belly and legs. It was really frustrating. She said, "Do you want me to pull down the mirror so you can see?" I was like, "I don't need the goddamn play-by-play. Let's just do this." I apologized afterwards. She laughed